Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is a farming and prospecting class. This is also a hybrid class. So we are working on setting up on our end. But good morning. Very nice to see you guys. Let me know if my volume is okay, please.
Just want to say good morning, everybody, and thank you all for being here and the people that are here live. Welcome back. We have another live class on Thursday, which we're going to be doing the leases, the rentals on Thursday here. So we hope to see you all here on Thursday. We will be giving away snacks, and we also have a Ferrari that we're going to be auctioning off on Thursday. Okay, so you'll be here.
I'll be here. What color?
It's going to be red with a yellow top. Anyway, for all the people that are out there in Zoom land, Galo and Nelly and Aris Rodriguez, Patricia, ¿cómo están? Thank you all for being here. We got a great crowd. Joyce, great to see you. Sigfredo, great to see you. Listen, we're really enjoying life right now. So we had a little bit of a technical issue, but we sort of fixed it, except the hole in the roof that I did by not wanting to try to fix it. All right, I leave you with the love of our lives, Christy Denny's. Christy.
Oh, thank you so much, Eddie. Guys, thank you so much for having me this morning. I'm so happy to be able to present again with you guys. In this class, we're going to be working on Show Me the Money. So to get started, if you want to follow along, you want to go to miamirealtors.com. And from there, we're going to work in a program called Matrix. We're also going to work on IMAP. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen on my end. And if it is okay with you guys, I'm going to just take 1 second and grab a water. All right, we're going to check in with everyone inside of Zoom. Feel free to ask any questions throughout the presentation. Inside of this class, we are going to go over quite a lot of information. So if you need me to slow down, if you want me to repeat something, feel free to interrupt me. I have no problem with that at all. And then the last thing I want to get is my notes. So I make sure that I cover all things that I want to go. All right, so from miamirealtors.com, we want to start off with scrolling down to the middle of the page where you're going to be able to access your Miami Gateway. You want to give this a quick click, and that's going to give you access once again to all of your products and services. Okay. On this page, the two systems that we're going to primarily be working on today with Show Me the Money are going to be, we're going to take a quick look into Matrix, which is right here. We're also going to be talking about IMAP. I'm going to scroll down towards the middle of all of your products and services. And IMAP is located here with a picture of a globe. So IMAP is next to RPR. You have RPR, IMAP, and Realist, and they're all bunched together because these are your tax roll services. And in this class, we're going to be doing different deep dives inside of the different programs in order for us to generate new business. The type of new business that we're primarily focusing on today is new listings. With the market the way that it is, the low inventory, the power to have new listings will really bring you an advantage into your career. So where I want to get started is going to be inside of Matrix because for most of us, this is where we're comfortable. We also want to share where you can access Matrix from. We do have a new Matrix X page, so it has been updated. You do have the notice here. I'm going to go ahead and tap on I've read this. And I'm going to show you that you have IMAP linked to your MLS, to Matrix X. Aside from it being linked up at the top, any listing that you are previewing also has IMAP linked to it. So I'm going to jump into my Market Watch just so I can give you an example of all of the places that IMAP is linked. This small I, this is also another icon of IMAP. And if I click on the MLS number, where you'll have access to a listing, you also have IMAP on the top left-hand corner. So there's two ways to access, well, multiple ways to access the program from inside of Matrix or directly from what it is your Miami Gateway. You'll have immediate access without a login. Now, how would I normally begin a process of farming and prospecting in an area? I would normally do a search of an RE1, RE2 community, possibly in my area. I want to pick a neighborhood that I'm familiar with. So I'm going to do 33183 as an example of a zip code. And from there, I have 29 matches for properties that are active in that area. I'm going to also select that I'm interested in single family homes, and I'm also going to select type of properties. This is going to give you an idea of what's active in a zip code or an area that you're familiar with. Tapping on results, we see we only have 5 matches. From here, I can see the different subdivisions that are available. This could be a great start for how it is that you're going to start working on a specific area. If you don't have one yet, this is the first start. Aside from that, I'm going to go ahead and click into one of these properties and give you an overview of all things IMAP. So I'm going to click on the icon, and we're going to have access to IMAP. It'll directly take me into the product page. So I'll have access to quite a lot of information about a property through the tax roll service. On the top, you see that you have your property information, which does include your PID. It can also be referred to as a folio number. And it is basically a few numbers that are put together to give you exactly the location of where that property is. You'll have access to the property type, the property address, and as you can see, you also have current owner information, including tax mailing information, how the property is used, zoning details, and more. Towards the middle, you'll have access to where this property is located and an overview of what it looks like. And on the top right-hand side, you do have additional information such as the MLS information, property tax details. This is the page that we're currently on. You can also find comparables through IMAP as well as residential MLS stats on a property. If you're interested in getting familiar with a specific neighborhood, you have demographic details as well as RPR. RPR is another tax roll service that you can use, and it also provides you with different forms and packages that you can print out. The documents available in RPR are fantastic, but that is a separate class. This page can be emailed. You can save it as a PDF, or you can print this page. Towards the bottom of the page, you'll have access to value information, client sales, and the history of this property. As you continue to scroll down, you'll have access to building information and assigned schools. If I scroll up, I do want to show you that you're able to create a brand new search from IMAP. Tapping on New Search will give you access to the main page of IMAP. One of the benefits of IMAP is on the top right-hand corner, you do have access to all of the counties in the state of Florida. So if you're interested in prospecting in another county, you do have them available inside of IMAP. Now, the first thing I want to do is show you different ways that you can search for property inside of IMAP. A good way to get started is searching by subdivision or the name of a neighborhood. How you can do that is simply by selecting subdivision select. You can simply tap on here and change these filters. For some of you, you might not be completely familiar with this overview of this program, so I'm going to take a second to describe what you have in front of you. On the top right-hand corner, you're the ability to create a new search. You can also save the searches that you're working on if I hover over my saved searches. And this breaks down into a tax roll search, an MLS search, and a foreclosure search. Inside of the tax search, I'm going to show you different ways that you can search. We're going to search absentee owners. We're going to search for investors. We're going to search for opportunity zones and much more. Under the MLS search, we're going to work on expired listings inside of the system. And under foreclosure search, we're going to also give it a peek. As I scroll down, you have the ability to switch out your search fields. So what you're looking at the moment are preset, but you can switch them out. So during the class, I don't want you to focus on which one I'm switching out. I just want you to focus on what it is that I'm changing. I can find the owner name on the first tab. I can also select it on the second tab. They're all the same. They're all interchangeable. And sometimes we get confused when we try to focus on, well, which ones do I have to change? They're all interchangeable, and you can search them based on what you're looking for. When it comes to search type, you can also input whether the information that you're searching for equals to that, contains those words, start with those words, etc. And then you have an input field on the search value side. We're going to use all 3 aspects of the system to build out these campaigns. Scrolling down, you're also able to start all of your searches using this this pretty large button towards the bottom. All right, getting started with the first option. The first option I'm going to do is I'm going to do subdivision select equals to, and the area that I'm interested in is Lakes of the Meadow. So Lakes of the Meadow is a community that's located in 33185. I'm going to scroll down, and how you begin to search for Lakes of the Meadow is to search for what it begins with. So I'm going to search with get entries starting with K through L. Selecting K through L, as you can see, the input has changed. I'm then going to give it another click, and I'm going to have a list of all of the communities that start between K and L. If I'm interested in Lakes of the Meadow, I'm going to scroll down. And as you can see, you have quite a lot of lakes. Here we go, Lakes of the Meadow. Here they are. Okay, so I'm going to select Lakes of the Meadow, Meadow Homes. When I select here, I can now begin a search, tapping on Start Search. Now, if you're interested in farming to this property or farming to this community, you now have 342 results, and all of these homes are located in Lakes of the Meadow. If you want to have an idea of what this looks like, on the right-hand side, you see where it says View on Map. You can tap on View on Map, and you can have access to where these properties are that you're planning to farm. These are the different parcels that are part of this community. Another option that you can do is you can also click on Refine this search. Tapping on Refine this search will take you back to the original search that we were doing. From here, what I want to show you is that I can also search using a parcel ID. If you're unfamiliar with Parcel ID, it's located on the top section. As you can see, when I clicked on the drop-down arrow for Lakes of the Meadow, how many Lakes of the Meadows communities did we see? We saw a lot of them. So if you want to specifically focus on certain units, then when you search for Lakes of the Meadow and there's a particular home that you like, you want to use your folio number. So I'm going to click on one of these options, and you see these PID number. You want to search with the first 3 sets of numbers. So let's say I'm not here, and you're going to start your search inside of Matrix because you found a home that you like. When you're inside of Matrix, whatever property you're in front of, you're going to use your folio number, and you're going to use the first 3 sets. Or you're going to click on IMAP so that you can access this page to have your first 3 sets of numbers. This is, of course, if you want to specifically search that subdivision. So I'm going to do the example. I'm just going to highlight these 3, right click. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to go to New Search. Instead of searching subdivision select, I'm going to search by the parcel ID. That's the PID, the folio number we just inputted. Right click and right click and paste, scroll down and start your search. You have the same amount of results. Okay, so these are different ways that you can search, just in case you don't remember the name of the subdivision, just in case there's a lot of subdivisions that look the same. Now from here, what we want to do is always click on results, not sorted. And from here, we want to make sure that there's no properties inside of this community that are already listed. If it's already listed, we don't want to target those people. So I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click on Mls Status Ascending. From here, it's going to show me all of these green flags. There's 5 of them. These green flags indicate that these properties are currently active in the MLS. So I'm going to remove the green flag simply by clicking on them. I'm also going to remove the yellow flag because that's a pending deal. Now I'm going to scroll back up, and you see where it says commit changes. I'm going to tap on commit changes. From here, I want to now get rid of these from my list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on show all results, and I'm going to change it to show only selected. And from here, out of the 350 that we have in this community, we now have 345 because we've removed all of the properties that are active in the MLS. So let's say from here, I want to get started on prospecting, and I want to send them out a postcard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on Create Mailing Labels. When I tap on Create Mailing Labels, this is going to give me access to sending a mailer to the occupants of the home. When it says occupants of the home, I want to make sure that I'm not going to receive a whole bunch of email back. So I'm going to tap on Replace First Line and select First Line plus or current resident. So whoever is living in this property is going to receive my notice. For example, if the owner is not living in this property and I don't make this change, that'll be returned to me. And in this idea, we want to blanket everyone. So from here, you have the choice of selecting your template, whatever you decided to buy in the store. And when you scroll down, we can now generate labels in a PDF format. Let me give this a quick open. And you have all of your labels that are available for you. And you can now begin to prospect to this community. Now, if I prospect to this community on a regular basis, I could receive a return on investment. It is still a very tried and true way of marketing. I did go ahead and I pulled an article that I saw inside of LinkedIn that I wanted to share with you guys. So when I was doing this, I'm very used to teaching social media, digital marketing, email campaigns, and the idea of mailers is something that we do, but as you can see, they're quite effective now. So you do have more or the amount or the same amount of return on investment when you social media boost than you do on doing one of these mailers. But a better way of being able to do it is to create a very specific mailer campaign. So what we did was we did it to everyone in the area. Let's go back, refine the search, and think of different campaigns instead of just sending the same message to everyone. All right, moving back, now that we know how to create labels, does anybody have a question so far? Yeah, I can download the search. So if you tap on download results, you'll have access to exporting the information. You have different downloads that you can do. So for example, if you wanted to do a mailer, you can do the owner name and address as a CSV. You can scroll down and choose the CSV option and start that download. And now you have the addresses and you have the addresses and the owner names so that you're able to do a mailer. Another option, since we're exporting data that we can do, is I can also export phone numbers. So from here, I'm going to tap on refine my search, start my search once again. Let me always remember to remove any of the active listings. This is one of the things that we wish that IMAP would update. All right, so we're gonna again remove everything that's in green inside of the community and anything pending, submit our changes, show only the selected, and download results. From here, we do have a download of a phone numbers so that you can access phone numbers of these consumers. As I scroll down, I'm going to start my download. And these are the fields that are going to be part of the CSV. Well, they're listed. But as you can see, you have owner information, address information, zip code, and you also have phone numbers associated with these consumers. So if you're interested in doing a mailer campaign, combined with giving them a phone call, you do have the numbers here. Now, they are not linked or they do not tell you if these phone numbers happen to be on a do not call list. So you want to take the additional step to make sure that these phone numbers are not on a do not call list before you call. But do you have access to them? You do. All right. Refine this search. Now from here, I want to go ahead and refine this search to have everything to do with the owner. We're going to choose owner occupied equals to and the word yes. This is telling the system that all of the properties in this subdivision, I only want to speak to the owner, the decision maker. From here, I can start my search. And from the 300 and some, we are now down to 299 results. But this means these are all of the owners in this property or that currently live in the property. So I'm going to sort MLS ascending. We have 3 that we want to remove. You want to commit these changes, remove what's in the gray. And from here, when you create a mailing label, you want to make some changes to what you're selecting. From here, you want to select owner address. And from here, you also have the option to input homeowner. You also can remove any duplicated results. And you also have the ability to remove anything that doesn't have a valid zip code. So you're not going to have the issue of sending out mailers to active properties, properties with incorrect addresses, or multiple letters to the same owner. So from here, you can now scroll to the bottom and create or generate these labels. Yeah. So from here, what I'm doing is a mailing label, but whenever you want phone numbers, you can click on download results and do the campaign. Great question if you wanted to sort that way. All right, moving back into refine this search, we're going to refine again. So instead of owner occupied, let's say that I want to put owner occupied no. If the owner is not living in the home, then who is possibly living in the home? You possibly have a tenant in the home and you're possibly able to contact an investor, somebody who's interested in purchasing or has purchased more than one home. So from here, you actually have 2 different ideas of how you can campaign. So as I scroll down, you're going to tap on start search. And from here, you have 51 results. Again, we want to sort this information. MLS status ascending. I put ascending. Remove the active property, the pending property, commit your changes. And this is another idea of how you can market or how you can get listings. In this case, you have 2 ways that you can use these 49 results. You can choose to create mailing labels on here. And instead of contacting the owner, you can choose again to do the occupants. You can replace the first line and you can change that information to possibly either maybe future homeowner, because these are people that are renting in the area. So if you wanted to do a campaign where you're sending specifically to people who are renting, rent is pretty high at this time. So you could create a campaign to convert a renter into a buyer with those 51 results that we got. And towards the bottom, you can generate those labels. Again, we've done 4 different campaigns with the same neighborhood. So it makes a lot more sense to specifically target people based on the research that you're doing than to blanket everyone. Not to say blanketing everyone is not bad, it's still a good idea for exposure. So moving up, let's go ahead and refine this search. Now that we know how to access our renters, you're going to click on start results. And from here, we're going to create that mailing label. After you sort, there's 2. And from here, you're going to change it to how we learned the owner address. So you want to click on owner address because it's not going to be the property address. It's going to be their mailing address. So from here, you can go ahead and remove any duplicates, only retrieve, and you want to keep it as the owner. Property owner. Scrolling down and generate those labels. Okay, so we can see that we have some owners that are living out of the area. We have some owners in Pittsburgh. We have some owners in Newberry. We have some in Winter Springs. So let's say you want to target not just people that are not living in their home, but if you want to target people who are not living in the state, we can do that. Let me exit out, refine my search. And from here, instead of owner occupied, we're going to give this a change. And you have the opportunity to select owner is Florida resident. So when it comes to owner is Florida resident, you can click on no. You can scroll down and you can start this search. Now we have 19 results in this community where the owner doesn't even live here. So maybe they don't want to pay for somebody to come in and maintain that property. And with prices being the way that they are, maybe this is a good time to get back that money they invested on this home. So again, we want to take the time to sort out anything that's active. We want to commit those changes. Under show our results, show what's selected, and now we're ready to create our labels or download the results. Okay, so you have with the same neighborhood, so many different options that you can do. And when it comes to doing mailers, you need to do them consistently. They do say that it's better to commit to a smaller mailing list and do it consistently at least once a month to be able to receive return on that investment. And when it comes to something so specific, like maybe owners that don't live in the neighborhood, you can probably do multiple neighborhoods around your area if they're this small of maybe 19 or 20 per subdivision. And this is a pretty large subdivision. And that can be a niche that you work on, right? They're different ideas. This is just to get your kind of like, to get excited, to think of different things you can do. So let's refine this search. And let's talk about other ways that, or other filters that you can use. So instead of the owner filters, which we've covered, we want to talk about another option that you can use. And that option is called the sales deed type. So this is basically how that property was sold. And based on how that property was sold, you can make or you can target specific people. Again, we're staying in the same subdivision. So up at the top, you have a list of different options that you can do. So from here, you have an affidavit of death, and that means that they're removing somebody from the title who has passed away. This is a small area. So I'm going to expand my area before I go into this one. But another option that you have is interfamily transfer and dissolution. So if you're interested in working with certain families, maybe there is a divorce, maybe there is a change, maybe there is a transfer to a new spouse, to a sibling of a specific property, it doesn't mean that they specifically want that property. So if you're interested in doing additional research on that, you do have interfamily transfers and dissolution that's available. And you can scroll down and start this search. And we have 68 properties that meet this criteria. Now, as you review the information, you can tap onto the PID. You can scroll down and you can see the history, right? The sales information and what has happened. So this is another great way that you can target different families regarding different services that you have. Okay? So moving back into my search, another option that I wanted to show you, let me refine, is going to be, wow, let me open it up. I'm going to remove myself from the subdivision, and I'm going to search in a larger area. I'm going to search in the zip code. And inside of the zip code, I'm going to click on affidavit of death, scroll down and see what I have available. And I have 4 results. Okay, so if you are interested in this type of real estate and assisting somebody with this kind of circumstance, this is another way that you can target them. This is a niche. This is a niche just like probate real estate. And you do have the option to open up that information and review probate documents. How do I do that? I would refine this search once again. So tapping on refine this search, you have the ability to scroll. And from here, you have probate court documents that you can access. This is a very specific niche when it comes to real estate. If you wanted to learn this, do you have any comments on probate real estate? They do once they trust you and you understand the process, but not everybody does. It's very niche. And aside from your probate options, you do have the option of also selecting opportunity zones. So I want to show you that inside of the dropdown, you have a section that's called opportunity zones. From here, you can click on yes in any opportunity zone, for example, and I'm going to remove the zip code and I'm going to tap on start my search. This is going to give me more than 5,000 different results where you can find an opportunity zone. This is excellent if you're working with investors. So what this means, this is a large area. What you can do is you can go ahead and tap on view on map, and you're able to see where the opportunities are clustered. Now, if you want to take that a step further, you can always refine this search. And instead of a specific or a non-specific opportunity zone. All right, so under property use code, for example, let's say you want to target, you're working with an investor, multifamily properties that have 10 or plus units inside what it is to be an opportunity zone. Now we can tap on start search and we have a significant smaller list, but you're working with some big property right now. When you tap on the PID to give you access to all of the information about this property, when you scroll down to the middle, you can locate these opportunity zones. You can tap on locate in an opportunity zone, and it's going to give you information about what that is. Okay, so primarily it is to assist investors. And when they purchase these properties, some of these properties are in neighborhoods where if they hold these properties, they can or have taxes deferred or their taxes are reduced if they hold the property. And that amount of property and taxes that are either held or reduced will increase the longer that they hold the property. So if you're interested in this type of real estate or in creating an ad regarding this particular opportunity zone with units that or properties that have more than 10 units, this is an option. But that already takes you into commercial. If you want to focus on residential, you can do under 4 units. Okay, so you're still working multifamily, but you're on the side of residential. So if you go back, again, this page, I'm going to go ahead and share it with the chat. You guys can go ahead and review this information, but it is linked. And this is what that button looks like. You can tap on that, refine this search. Okay. And from here, you don't necessarily have to do multifamily 10 plus units. You have other options. You have all of the different types of properties that you can use. So we do have a list of all of the different type of properties that you can search when it comes to prospecting. So if it's a specific type that you want to look at, this is that system that you'd want to use. And the last thing that I want to cover outside of opportunity zones is inside the MLS search. So inside of the MLS search, this is normally where you can search all things in the MLS. But there's only kind of one special thing about IMAP is that you can search for expired listings, which you can also do inside of Matrix, but inside of IMAP, you can search specifically for properties that are listed that expired but were not relisted. So sometimes when you search for expireds inside of the MLS, what happens is that day it was relisted by either the same agent or maybe somebody else who was prospecting the moment that it became expired. But this is a great way that they've done that legwork for you. So what you can do is you can search using status. Listing status equals to, and you have two options. Well, you have a few options, but you have expired, not relisted. You can tap on here. And then from here, you can also choose a specific area. So I'm going to choose a city. Let's choose the city of Miami. And now I can see all of the expired, not relisted properties in this area. And then start the search. All right. So now I have more than 5,000 results, and it could have been maybe a glitch in the system, but you do have them available. Let's go ahead and refine the search. And let's look for expired, not relisted, and change that property type. So here under property type, we can choose a specific property. Let's do single family, tapping on start search. And these are all of the single family homes in Miami that expired that were not relisted by the agent. So from here, you do have that information. You don't have to sort these details. Why? Because none of them were relisted. So this is another way that you can go ahead and prospect for consumers without having to worry that I'm calling somebody who's already listed this property. Okay. So from here, you can also refine once again. And instead of expired, you have canceled, not relisted. So canceled is a little bit different. That means they canceled the contract with the listing agent. So that could have maybe ended poorly, which is better for us so that we can show all of the benefits that we have to offer. And you can start that search where you'll have those details available. Okay. So these are canceled, not relisted. Two forms of marketing that you can do. So as you can see, there's quite a lot. From here, they can also download results. They do have the full listing details, but I don't see the phone numbers from here. I only see where you can create a mailing label. Let's see. We have listing, owner name and owner address, owner name and property address. And let's see if I can create. We don't have that option. We have both options, but we do not have where they can get the phone number from here. It could be because this is pulling data from the MLS, and we don't have normally the phone number of the owner listed on the MLS. And the tax roll, it does have the ownership information. So that could be one of the reasons why it's not listed. But you can, of course, contact either the listing address, the owner name and the owner address, or the owner name and the property address. If you do owner name, owner address, then you don't have to worry about additional filters so that you don't contact the tenants. Okay. So from here, I'm going to click on new search. And we did go over quite a lot of information, but these are different ways that you can prospect. I hope that you take the time to review all of the different examples that we did. And on the top right-hand corner, I am going to share with you guys these two articles. When I send over the recording to the office, I'll send over the top 6 reasons that direct mail is still working. And I'm also going to send you these numbers regarding return on investment when you do campaigns, when it comes to mailing out. But consistency is key, and this is the perfect time to get started with that. This is the second quarter of the year. So you do have quite a lot of time to make it a great year, okay? So thank you so much for having me. Thank you.